Welcome back to another reading and correcting of Clemson by me, Kendor, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. Today we are doing chapter 10. The color on the wall was uneven and dirty. Places, panels were missing, wires hung out where someone could trip over them. In others, the wall looked like they had been eaten by something or worn down to nothing. And no, the material used to make ship could wear down like that. Alex considered asking about it, but he decided to wait until he knew Will better, figure out how he'd take such a comment. He had to climb 2 levels using the emergency ladder. Alex couldn't stop that question. Isn't there a lift we can use? He'd handed his bag to Will, and Alex was panting from the effort of climbing using only one hand. Not here. It's broken. Only one working are at either end. Yeah, this. Oh, man. If I ever rewrite this book, which I won't, I need to fix Will's dialogue. He's not supposed to speak eloquently. I don't know why I didn't go back, or even why my editor didn't go back to fix this. I noticed a few places where repairs are on the way. Nah, just missing stuff. Alex almost missed her wrong. What do you mean missing? How can you get to space if you're missing stuff? Hey, the yacht's a good ship, the younger man said as he reached an opening and stepped off the ladder. Don't look like much, but it's always gotten us out of jam. He reached for Alex and helped him out. But no one cleans it? Will looked around. Never no time. So much to do. The man looked at his gloved hands covered with grime from the ladder and shuddered. Alex thought he'd wipe them off on his pants, but he was slower then. This way. Alex adjusted his estimate of Will's age down. It looked like he was in his late 20s, but the way he spoke made Alex think he couldn't be older than 20, maybe even younger. Will stopped at an open door. Where we eat, he said, pointing in. The room was large, with long tables and benches. In the back, people were behind a counter preparing food. Even at this distance, one of them, a woman, stood out for being taller than the other and also more massive. Her yells, as she gestured to a man, reached him indistinct except for her anger. He noticed Will looking longingly for a moment, before catching him watching and turning. Food's good. Captain makes sure there's lots. Says the crew works better on full stomach. He glanced at Alex's midsection. You'll like it. Further down the hall, and a right turn. Alex had no idea where he was on the ship. He'd seen the occasional terminal on the wall. He didn't have to take the time to check for a map. He didn't want to lose Will and then be utterly lost. Will pressed the controls on a double door, then smacked it before the door opened. We play here. As large as the dining hall had been, this was larger. It was a vast room with clusters of seats around projection screen and held tables with various games on them. On the closest wall, he made out lockers with exercise machines, except for a handful of people around the table, it was empty. One of them looked up from whatever game they were playing. What the hell are you doing here? Well, this ain't no place for you to bring your boyfriend. The man was short and squat. His pants looked like to have been taken from a military store, black with lots of pockets, and his shirt, while too long, could have been owned by an executive. His face was covered with scars. Fuck off, Anders. Will replied in a bored tone. Mrs. Crimson just joined. The man, Anders, raised an eyebrow and stood and joined them. Up close, he couldn't be more than 5'6", and looked Alex up and down. Captain hired that? Disgust dripped from his tone. As what? Cook? Alex was about to explain he could still work, in spite of his weight, but Will patted the short man's shoulder, smiling widely. You want to question the captain? Just watching the unloading. But give me the code to your room. I'm going to get your knives since you won't be needing them anymore. Anders glared at Will, but he didn't leave. So, why are you on the ship? He asked Alex. Don't answer. Will said before Alex could speak. Don't owe him no damn thing. Captain says you're good. You're good. This asshole don't matter. The short man grinned. Just remember, next time we go out, you're going to need me to watch your back. Let's cough. Don't trust you to watch where I shit. He grabbed Alex's arm and pulled him away. The doors closed. He looked over his shoulder. Alex did the same. Ender that stayed inside the room. Watch him, Alex said. Likes to cause trouble. Isn't the captain's space people who cause trouble? That's what he sounded like earlier. Will shrugged. People in there are captain's favorite. When they play inside instead of work, well, they get away with trouble unless they do it in front of him. He looked Alex over. Anders thinks you're weak, so he'll come after you. Give him the balls when he does. He'll know you're not weak then. Alex wondered how good of an idea that was. Vicious. Did you do that? 4 times. You don't bother me much anymore. You don't bother me much now. Alex couldn't figure out if Will was joking or not. They moved through more corridors, went up 3 floors using ladders, walked some more, then went down 1. How many people on the crew? Alex asked as he stepped off this one. Will shrugged. 100? More? Dunno. Engine people stick together. Same for bridge. So you and the ones outside are what? Laborers? Will grinned. Must be. We do the hard stuff. He took off a glove and pressed a clean door control. The door opened. That's it. The room was small. Alex had expected that it was for the crew. The room was small. Alex had expected that was for the crew after all, not passengers, but still. He was shocked at how small this was. 10 feet deep at the most, 8 wide. There was a bed on each side of the room, with shelves above, then a small cabinet at the foot. Unlike the rest of the ship, this room was impeccably clean. That's yours. Will indicated the left bunk as he dropped on the right one. He indicated a door at the back. Shitter showers through there. Looked back to Alex and burst out laughing. Alex glared at Will. Sorry. Will said, and Alex realized he wasn't being mocked. Looked like he thought this was your bedroom and your dad made it a kitchen. What did that even mean? Alex wondered. Sat down and put the case and bag beside him. Just didn't expect a room to be this small. It's okay. I know. This ain't no rich cruiser, but we get our own shitter and shower. The ship I was on was communal. He shuddered. How long have you been here? Forever, feels like. Captain took me away from them. Always go in the dresser, rest under the bed. Anything you don't want, they can keep in your pocket. Wasn't the door locked? Alex asked, crouching in bed and feeling along for a latch. Sure, but don't trust it. Alex found it in the bed, lifted easily. Face under it at dozens of open boxes. 4 contained small statues, human women, Alex could tell. One had a computer processor chip. One had computer processor chips. Another contained energy packs for, well, Alex wasn't sure what they were for, except they weren't for eating. That last one with items like chronometers. Yours, I'm guessing? Will peered in. Sorry, forgot I had that. Never got a roomie before, so I take everything. Should have handed that over last time. Worth good money. He looked around the room. I'll move them. It's okay. This is all I have. He put the case in one of the boxes, and after taking his clothes and the holographic projector out of the bag, he put them next to it. Sat back in the bed and held the projector in his hand. What's in it? I'll ask. Alex hesitated for a moment. Then a small dark-furred Somalian appeared right above the projector. The image was a little over a foot in height, facing Alex and smiling. Alex returned a smile. Who is that? That's Jack. He didn't care what everyone else said. He refused to believe Jack and Tristan were the same person. This was all he had left of his time with Jack. That would always be who this showed. He's gentle, clever. He's your special guy, ain't he? Alex's head snapped up, eyes wide with fear. Okay, Bill said, gentle smile on his face. Don't care who you're close to. It took Alex a moment to understand the words. Memories of his father screaming at him for catching Alex in bed with an alien student from school came back to him. He'd lived with the fear of being judged for being attracted to aliens ever since. Even while a prisoner in question, he'd been reluctant to admit what he and Jack had shared. He'd been justified considering the onslaught of ridicule he'd suffered after the admission. The time someone had learned his interest in alien was more than platonic, Alex had suffered for it. I'm cool with it. Alex focused on the young man. Where? Don't care. What others do? Some really hate aliens. You'd best keep that hidden. Alex nodded. Thanks for the warning. Picked up the chip from the projector. How about you? You have someone special? Set the projector on the shelf. It was an easy reach for when he wanted to remind himself why he was doing this. Will reclined on his bunk, hands behind his head. Oh yeah, he sighed. Carlina, Fortuna. Alex smiled at the goofy expression on the young man's face. He knew he'd worn such an expression many times when with Jack. How long have you two been together? We're not. This time the sigh was filled with sadness. But you care about her, right? More than the star. Does she care about you? She don't know about it. Why not? Will sat up. Remember the big woman in the kitchen? The one screaming? Alex nodded. That's my Carlina. Pulled his knees to himself, kind of scared what she'll do if she don't like me back. Alex tried to imagine them together. So different. He young and smaller while she was really big and had to be older. Then he found himself thinking about Jack and him. They were as different as them in their own way, so why couldn't these two make it work? Still, they didn't offer any encouragement. Bill was right. She was rather scary. This concludes chapter 10 of Crimson. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next one's going to be, subscribe, hit the bell. If you want to read the book, it's available on all all major e-retailer, not all of them, wish. And as is the rest of the series. If you want to support me, you can do that on Patreon. You can also get access to other stories there, as well as read stories that are being worked on and not published yet. And if you want to watch me write and read these, you can do that on Twitch. The links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.